going on to the good people? We here. We are here. So let's go ahead. Let's check in. Let me know how the audio is coming in. I got my mic way far away from me. Hoping you can still hear me clearly. Let me know. Because I notice the mic sometimes the camera picks up the mic too often. So I said, let me put the mic far away. All right. We're about to do this. So check in. We here. I see you guys are here. What's going on, Mark? Mark, your bottle is en route. Got you a bottle coming to you, my friend. So it's on its way. I think you got can't remember what you won, but you got a good bottle coming your way. And so it's headed to you. And I believe Daryl Cobb won another bottle as well. And so he's got a bottle headed towards him. And so we do what we say we're going to do. And so we got 2 bottles headed out. And this week we shipped out. We got some stuff headed out to my guest last show, to the old Fogey Stogie. And so I sent him a whole package, throw in some Atabays, some the new stuff, the Avowed. And so there's some stuff headed towards him. I throw in some legendary cigars. I sent him some turduckens and just stuff that I really enjoy. And then to my sister Jo, got some stuff headed towards her. I sent her a Lampert Limitada, some Atabays. And so I take care of the people for no other reason, just to be a good guy. Be a good guy taking care of the good people. And so we are here, my friends. Tonight we have a show. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm keeping it traditional. I'm smoking the EP Carrillo Pledge. And so I'm smoking the Pledge tonight. And I'm drinking some scotch. So I said tonight we making some bold cigar predictions. Some gold cigar predictions for 2026. So, in fact, the reason why I was delayed, I got a whole PowerPoint. I got some talking points. So I wanted to make sure it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but it's you'll see it in a second. So this has been a long week, a good week, but a long week. We've been rising and grinding. You've been getting the content. I was going to drop a 4th video, but I said, you know what? Ain't no more football on Sundays, so let me save that video for Sunday. So you'll have something to do on Sunday. And so I'll start dropping some videos on Sunday. Tonight, I'm sipping on some scotch. I got me some Brooklotic 2013 or whatever is the 2013 Brooklotic. So I'm going with some scotch today. Congratulations to the Seahawks. Congratulations to everyone who watched the Super Bowl, enjoyed it. Congratulations to everyone who had a good time on that day. So I'm smoking me the EP Carrillo Pledge. A good, tasty, oily, filled with taste and flavor cigar. So go ahead, check on in. We're about to have a show. Check on in. Let me know if the Super Bowl worked out the way you wanted it to. Let me know if the halftime show was the way you wanted it to have been. My buddy Young, I think he's in Seattle. Big Seahawks fan. What's up, everybody? So Mark's got his goodies coming to him. Joe's got some good stuff coming to her. I'm sorry. What's up to my frat brother? So again, let me know. Make sure it's the sound crisp. Hey, yeah. Let me know. Don't make me find out 3 hours from now when I check the replay. Let me know how things are going. How it's looking. We here. We got a whole show lined up for you. Seahawks have won. It's time to unwind. I've had a whole week. So let me know what you're sipping on, what you're smoking on. I'm gonna kick it with you for a little bit. Talk about making some bold cigar predictions. I am the cigar prophet. And today I've come to prophesy, to make some bold cigar predictions. Last week, I had my first guest on. I had old Fogey Stogie was on. Great show. Appreciate him for coming on. That's my brother. We go way, way back. He's been supporting the channel for a good while now. And I got some stuff coming up. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. The channel isn't going to get all watered down. I'm not going to be having all kind of brands come on, and we're not doing all that. But I do got some stuff planned for you all, and so that's coming. It's going to be exciting. Just know that anything I bring onto the channel, it's not going to be boring. So if I bring somebody on, if I bring a brand owner on, it's going to be one of the charismatic ones, one of the ones that can hold a conversation. And so we doing that. You've been seeing the content that's been coming out. They're really, really getting into Avowed. And so I know everyone's been talking about them, but I'm digging the Avowed. And so everything, all the Avowed stuff. So the Vow, the New Dawn, they got a new one, Hallowed Hands. And so I'm really, it's good. It's good. So you're gonna see some content on that. What I'm seeing is a shift. And that's why this whole show is entitled 10 Bold Predictions. Because the cigar space, we was losing for a second there. And now things are right sizing. Things are getting to where they should be, to where they should have been. Things are starting to make sense again. So as my friends check in, Seahawks. Yeah, my brother here, he's got this Alec Bradley Prensado Lost Art. I thought about lighting up a Alec Bradley tonight, the Prensado. So I love the Prensado, one of my most favorite cigars. Thought about lighting that up tonight. Then I said, all right, you know what? Let me smoke this Pledge. All right, we're about to have us a good time, my friends. Check in. Let me know what you're smoking on, what you're drinking on. I know I keep asking, how's the sound? Because the mic is so far away. See, I'm a preacher. I'm used to holding the mic here and talking into it. But the mic is way over there. I'm like, can they hear me? Can they even hear me? All right, Enrique is enjoying a classic, a legendary cigar, the Andalusian Bull. The Goldie, one of my favorites. Oh, look, you guys smoking my favorites. Prensado, Andalusian Bull, Goldie. All right, my brother was at the parade. Congratulations to you. My frat brother smoking an Opus 25th. All right, look, y'all ain't playing around. We just getting started, y'all. Are you celebrating? Yeah, he's got to be celebrating. His son got accepted into Wake Forest. Congratulations. Scholarship. Yeah. Congratulations. That's what we do. We take care of our mind, our body, our spirits. Congratulations, my friend. Yeah, I'm wondering, why are you smoking an Opus X 25th anniversary with some Weller Full Proof? And so that's a great way to celebrate. And that's a worthy accomplishment. So congratulations. Shouts out to Shockproof, his son. So he raised him right. Young man's gonna go off to school. Oh, that's a great school. Amazing. All right. My sister said the sound's going in and out. Gotta get the mic closer to me. Get the mic closer. I won't be messing around. We got some stuff to share today. I don't want you to miss nothing. You got to hear this. You got to hear what we got to say. And so we about to go in. Again, I'm smoking me just a classic, a legacy cigar. Bad Bunny did his thing. My brother's about to enjoy a Don Carlos. And as he said, I recommended it. There ain't nobody that's ever going to say, I recommended a cigar that wasn't good. Nobody can ever say that. Nobody can ever claim that. I don't care whether they love me or they hate me. There ain't nobody that can ever say, I recommended a cigar that was not good. Nobody has ever said that. I done put out like over 400 videos. Every video's got like 5 to 10 recommendations, and no one's ever said, hey, you recommended a cigar that wasn't great. I mean, think about it. Think about how hard that must be. So yeah. I say this all the time. Nobody has a problem with what I say. They just don't like it that I'm the one saying it. What's up, everybody? Mindless, my friend, Rise and Grind. Bobby's here. LFD. Sipping on some 4 Rose bourbon. Sounds like a good Friday night. Congratulations to Shockproof's son. Kevin, ain't playing around. Smoking an Amazon 2025, an amazing cigar. That cigar, I wish I'd loaded up on that. Yes, I got the 2026, but don't really like it. Don't really like the 2026 thus far. Maybe it's going to get better, but I don't really like it. But in all good things, just got to put it to the side. But that 2025 just came out ready. That thing was just ready from the get-go. All right. So we making some bold cigar predictions tonight. We're not messing around. Some bold cigar predictions. And we're going to go into this. I'm not messing around. I got 10. And I want you to look. Last week I had a co-host. This week is back to just us. The people. The people is the co-host. Let me set it up this way. It is my opening monologue. We're seeing a shift. We're seeing a shift in the cigar space. We're seeing a shift. And the reason why the shift is happening is because the brands are listening. One thing I've been stressing this to cigar content creators, to people starting up new brands. It's all about what the people think. It's all about what the people say. The people is everything. If you notice why with this channel, why I don't even mess with the brands, I don't chase the brands, because I know the brands are going to chase the people. And so I do good shows, good content for the people. The brands are going to follow the people because that's how they sell their products. And so what I notice, a lot of people like to chase after the brands and try to appease the brands. But my approach for everything, content, life, I'm dealing with the people. The people will make or break you. And so this show is for the people. That's why you never seen any brands on here. It's just the people. But the brands are watching. I can tell you without a doubt, the brands watch every single thing. I can tell you that there's not a comment that you make. There's not a show that we've ever done. There's not a video I've ever uploaded. The brands watch. The brands understand that. They understand the power of influence. We hear a lot about how traditional media is dying. It's all about that one-on-one connection. We were just talking about it. Someone said, hey, you recommended the Don Carlos and all your recommendations are good. And I said, yeah, I recommend stuff to my friends. And you guys go out and get it. And you're always pleased. That right there, there's no advertising dollars that can pay for that. That right there is worth its weight in gold. And the brands realize that. The brands realize that, hey, there are some people out here who the people actually listen to. The brands realize that there are some voices out here who this voice is authentic, this voice is honest, and the people actually respect it. And so the brands are realizing, and they chase after who does the people watch. And not only watch, but who does the people listen to? Who's got a connection with the people? And everybody can't really say that. And it's got nothing to do with views. What's up, Lito? Welcome to the show. Yeah, I'm smoking me this EP Carrillo Pledge. I haven't smoked it in a while. I just know it's delicious. Got Cigar of the Year for a reason. Welcome, my friend. What's up, my frat brother? What's happening? The Q's are here. Big Manny's here. Shockproof is here. My sister's enjoying. Oh, EP Carrillo's releasing something else? Okay, I'll be checking that out. Smooth for the women. Okay. But as I was saying, the brands understand the influence, the power of the influence. And it's not just about views or who can get views. It's about who has real influence. All views aren't equal. And so sometimes you can put up a video, somebody watches the video for a second, click off. That counts as a view. But then there's some views where the person watches the entire video, agrees, and goes out and makes a purchase. So that's a view that leads to an actual action, actual movement, an actual response. And the brands realize that not everybody has that. Some people, look, they just watch it for 30 seconds, click off, and go. The brands realize that, look, there's some people out here who, when somebody watches their video, they watch the whole video. Like you guys, I'm willing to bet you watch the entire video. And then you might even move on the decision or on the recommendation or on the suggestion that I make. That is what the brands go after. That is what they want. If you ever wonder why do so much ads run on my videos, that's why. Because they understand that people really watch it, and they're going to be moved to action. And so the brands got this thing figured out, and the brands listen. That's why I say to you guys all the time, what's your views? What's your thoughts? Because the brands are listening. The things we talk about, the things you type, the brands are watching that. That's their research. That's their R&D. That's their research and development. They watch, they see, oh, this guy likes the Don Carlos. Let's make cigars that taste like that. This guy, like my sister just said, a comment, just a comment she made. La Historia Silk comes out. It's smooth for the women. Just that comment by itself lets them know we got women smoking cigars. We got the female palate to appeal to. One of the brand owners, trust me, they got people paid to just sit here and watch live streams like this. And what they just saw in that little comment is that there's women engaging, there's women watching, there's women smoking. And so just that comment right there is going to lead them to, like what she said, come out with cigars that's a little bit more for a woman's touch. The brands are listening, my friends. And so don't be surprised when the things we sit here and talk about, the brands go out and do, because that's how they stay in business. And so I wanted to really stress that, because I can sit here and say, oh, I'm the prophet. I say something today and 6 months later it happens. No, it ain't me. The brands are listening to what you're saying, and they go out and make cigars based on what you say. And that's what I think is a good thing. That's where things are coming back into play, because the brands had gotten, they become disconnected from the people. And so I'm going to make some bold predictions that in 2026, I think the brands are going to come back in, and I think there's going to be some changes. And so we'll talk about it. And so we'll be talking about some bold predictions. Give me a second. Let me write this in here. Bold predictions for cigars. And so that's going to be the premise for tonight's show. And I want you all to go ahead and even type that in. Type in what's some of the bold predictions that you think. Now, before we go into this, have us a good time. I'm going to be giving away. So yes, I've already sent out. So Daryl Cobb got a bottle of the New Riff single barrel. That's already mailed out. Mark got a bottle of, I can't remember what I said to him, but it's a great bottle of American white whiskey. That's already sent out. And on last week's show, so Stogie Brody, I always say Stogie Brody, Old Fogey Stogie, he is gifting. So we did a hashtag chunky. So that was his nickname. And the winner for that, and so the winner, we got he's gonna be gifting. It's a cigar pack. It's got some Opus X. I think he's got an Opus X 25th anniversary in there. He's got some good stuff. He's a big Dunbarton guy. And so he's got some Dumbarton stuff, some Opus X stuff. And last week's show, so the winner for that is Ryan Sims, 4672. Ryan Sims, 4672. So Ryan, go ahead and claim your prize. Congratulations to Ryan. Everybody, let's congratulate Ryan. Ryan Sims, 4672 is the winner. Ryan Sims, you're the winner, my friend. All right, so we got all the housekeeping out of the way. Actually, one more thing. We 20 minutes into the show. I haven't even started the show yet. But I know we're going to have us a good conversation tonight. So Ryan Sims. Not Ryan Watson. I'm sorry. He's won enough. Ryan Sims, S-I-M-S. Ryan Sims, 4672. You're the winner. So congratulations to Ryan. Brother Mark says he used to be an exclusive legacy brand type of guy. But he's been reaching out. And so I've been doing that. So I shared with you the Lampert. Really been digging that. Really been digging Avowed. And so there's some good stuff. And as Mark mentions, Pravada puts out some great stuff. And actually, I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and say it. And so one of the persons in the cigar space that I really respect, really look up to is Brian from Pravada. So him and I, we've been corresponding for some time now. And so in a couple weeks, he's going to be on the show. And so I'm going to have Brian on there. And that's why I said earlier, when I bring someone on, it ain't going to be a brand pushing products on you. It's going to be about us having some good conversation, real conversation, talking about cigar culture, talking about life, just talking about how we would talk in the lounge. And so Brian's going to be going to do that on a Tuesday. That's going to be on a Tuesday. And so all the Pravada people, we're going to have Brian on. And that's going to be on February 24th. And so we're serious about the cigar culture. I say it all the time. It ain't about the brands. It's about the culture. And so I think Brian has been a great asset to the culture. And so I'm going to have him on. We'll have some conversation. So yeah, we're going to hear from Brian. And so again, we talk business because we are adults. We talk about business. We talk about cigar culture. We talk about what's really happening. We talk about how to. We try to bring you that truth. I'm not gonna just have a brand come on and tell you, "Oh, my cigars are the best." Of course, they're gonna say their cigars are the best. But I want to go deeper than that and have some real substantial conversations. All right, so we got some of the housekeeping out of the way. My sister asked, what's Pravada? So Pravada is, to me, that's like the first cigar club. So it's a cigar club. And I believe like most of them, even like Luxury Cigar Club, it's a subscription-based service. You pay, they send you some cigars every month. Now, the difference with Pravada, it's not necessarily based on brands and those kind of things. He's really trying to give you the experience and the education. Now, Brian, just like me, he's very knowledgeable about business and about industries, about culture. And so he's taken us behind the scenes with the cigar culture. And because he's done that, some of the brands don't like him. Some of the people in the cigar space don't like him because he educates us on the culture of cigars. That's made him a target, just like what I do. And so there are some people who don't like it when we start sharing with you the truth, when we start sharing with you where the tobacco really comes from, when we start sharing with you who's really making the tobacco. One of the things that a lot of the brands like to do, they take a guy in a suit, young man, clean shaven, and they want us to believe that's the master blender. That's the guy. No. Brian is the type to take you deep into Nicaragua, show you that 80-year-old man who is the true master blender. And so Brian takes us, educates us, entertains us, and just does it in a whole different way. It's a way that we, guys like me, guys and women like you, can just actually relate to. So because he's been on this crusade of just sharing the truth, so of course the brands don't like that. Brian will show us the real cost of cigars, and the brands don't like that. And so that's what Bravada has been doing. So to those who are members, you can go ahead and let my sister know about it. Yeah, Brian is the truth. And so it's no shocker that a guy like him and a guy like me would sit and have some conversation. Again, I ain't bringing everybody on the show. I can't just bring everybody. But if you are honest, and a lot of people don't like what they call his marketing. Like, yeah, it's exciting. So for those who don't know who Brian is the, just like what I am to, I guess, cigar reviewers, that's what Brian is to the whole cigar media space. All right, we're about to go. I need one quick second because my laptop ain't plugged in. One quick second, and we about to get it. So I'm gonna go make sure my laptop is plugged in. But I want you all go ahead and type some bold cigar predictions for 2026. Let me just go plug this thing in. All right, we back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We back. Feel a little off today, but we back. Bold cigar predictions. I was looking at my laptop. I'm like, why is it dimming? The whole time, it wasn't even plugged in. But we back. Bold cigar predictions. My sister asked, would he allow a review of the cigars in one of his monthly package? Listen, when I bring him on, it ain't a sales pitch. So I'm not bringing him on to sell. I'm bringing him on so we can have some good conversation. And so that's what we're going to do. We'll vibe and we'll see how the conversation goes. But let's make these bold cigar predictions. All right, let's dive into this. All right, I feel like I'm off today. We're going to dive into this. And so, like I said, the brands are listening. And the brands have been responding. And it's my prediction that in 2026, things are going to be done a little bit different. In 2026, see, I wanted this to show as individual slides, and I just couldn't get it to do it as such. First one I got on here. Cigars will become more affordable. That's my bold prediction. And I know you're thinking that, wait a minute, how could that be? How listen. The first bold prediction that I'm giving you. Look, I'm the cigar prophet. I know what's going to happen. Cigars are going to become more affordable. If you're new to cigars, maybe you just jumped in 2 years ago, you probably think cigars have always cost $50. No, that's a new thing. That's a very new thing. And so this is why 2 years ago, I came out just swinging, saying, hey, stop it. Stop with the overpriced cigars. Stop with the expensive stuff. The cigar companies, look, they're trying to sell a product. They're a brand. They're a company like any other company. They're going to do whatever they think they can get away with. And 2 years ago, they tried it. They tried it and they got away with it. They came out of nowhere. It was not like that 3 years ago. Atabay's been around, but they didn't cost no $50. These companies, they went for it. And nobody said nothing about it. They went for it. They tried it. They tried with the expensive cigars and nobody said nothing. And so what do people just assume they just had to buy those expensive cigars. I just mentioned to you that I'm digging Avowed. Avowed's putting out great cigars. And I haven't researched it a ton, but from what I've heard, their cigars is from, I believe, from the Keltner house, which is essentially, I believe Keltner was with Davidoff. And so Avowed could have came out, I think, and I don't know them, I'm not judging them, I'm not saying what they would have done, but my assumption is, if they'd come out 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when all the expensive stuff was coming out, their cigars likely would have been priced at $30, $40, because that's what everybody was doing. Every new company was just pushing. They were coming out with $25 cigars, just basic, regular Connecticut's. And then they would hit you up with the $30, $35 for the limited edition. Everybody was doing that. But then a guy like me came out and said, hey, look, y'all better stop. Stop it. Stop it. And I started speaking truth to power. I started saying this is nonsense. This is foolishness. Oliva Series V Milanio was like a $15 cigar. Even the Padrones, they were like 20 or 18. Opus X was like 20, 25. And out of nowhere, all these new companies just came out with these expensive stuff. And like I said, people were just smoking them. Rocky Patel was coming out with $100 cigars. Everybody was coming out with year of this and the year of that, and it got crazy. It just got out of hand. And as my brother said, so he stopped buying it. I started the show off by saying the people have the power. The brands are listening to you. So sure, they can watch a show like this and listen to what you type and say and what I say. But most importantly, they're going to listen to your purchasing. So if we just keep buying the expensive stuff over and over and over, then they'll just keep making it expensive. But as soon as somebody like Young says, look, I ain't buying that no more, then they stop pushing it on us. And so now we got companies like Lampert. They've come out with an amazing cigar, the Lampert Limitada, one of my most favorite cigars right now. Cigar costs like $15 to $18. 2 years ago, that cigar would have cost $35. And again, Avowed, they got an entire lineup, excellent cigars. They could have put Davidoff type prices on them, but they didn't. The people have spoken, my friends. And so you speak with your purchasing power. Don't see something is wrong and just keep buying into it. Don't see that the prices are high and just keep buying it. Don't see that they keep coming out with limited edition and you just keep buying it. And so be like my friends and just stop. Don't buy it. When you do that, they are listening and they're going to respond to it. We see that time and time again. And so that's why when I was saying these things 2 years ago, people looked at me like I was crazy, like I was making up stuff. The brands are going to listen to the people. And so my first bold prediction, and I know it might seem crazy, the prices are going to come back down. We see this in so many different markets. Right now, we're seeing this in whiskey. They tried the same thing in the whiskey space. The prices got crazy and people said, well, then we ain't buying it no more. We're not chasing after your Brantons anymore. We're not chasing after your limited edition anymore. People just stopped buying it. Those bottles sat on shelves and now all of a sudden, Buffalo Trace, I go to Total Wines once a week. They always have Eagle Rare and E.H. Taylor just sitting there, $50. 2 years ago, E.H. Taylor, a bottle of that was like $125. When you speak with your wallets, the brands will listen. And so, my friends, first thing I got to say is, I think the prices are going to go down. I think we're going to get back to where things are the way they used to be. I think the prices are going to slowly start to come back down. The new companies are going to see, look, Avowed is putting out great cigars at a reasonable price. Lampert is doing it. And so now we have to do it. The cigars don't cost them but like $2 to $4 to make. Anything beyond that, they're making a profit. They don't have to charge you $20 for that cigar. They can easily charge you $16 and make a 4-time profit. These companies are going to go back to doing that because what they're going to realize is nobody's buying your expensive cigars. Because I just talk about Brian and Pravada, we're getting the education that lets us know where the tobacco is coming from. We understand it's coming from the same place as the cheaper stuff. It's the same rollers, it's the same factories, it's the same everything. And so the prices are going to come down because the brands are listening and the brands are hurting. And so my sister mentioned earlier about tariffs and taxes. The brands realize that they can't keep putting on these prices because the people are just going to not buy them. I talk all the time. One of my favorite cigars is just a regular house blend that I buy. It's a $4 cigar. It's an amazing cigar. I like it. It's coming from the same place as the $20, $30 cigars. And so I think the first thing that's going to happen is the brands are going to realize this. And the brands are going to get in line. As my brother says, yeah, it's all just sourcing. And I talk a lot about this each week. It's all just white label sourcing. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but most of the tobacco comes from about 1 to 5 places. It's either from Placencia's farm, it's from Aganorsa's farm, it's from AJ's farm. Of course, you got Padron, you got Fuente, you got Oliva, but most of it is coming from the same place. Most of it is really just white label. Most of it is just coming from the same place. They slap a new band on it. Same thing happens with whiskey. Now that we're getting this kind of education, the brands are starting to realize that, look, we can't keep charging the same prices because the people know better now. So that's the first thing I think is going to happen. And my brother said, same thing with fragrances. We see this all the way around. If anyone says, how come, what does he think he knows about business? Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing my Cornell sweatshirt. I got an MBA, a master in business. So it's all business, whether it's cigars, whether it's whiskey, whether it's fragrances. It's all the same play. But when you as the consumer say, look, when the demand goes down, then they gotta follow it up with the price, because what they're gonna be left with is, once the demand goes down, now they got an overflow, an overflux of supply. They gotta get stuff sold off, and so the price will then be adjusted. And so I think the first thing that's gonna happen, we're gonna see prices come down. And so tonight, I'm smoking an EP Carrillo. I did this on purpose. EP Carrillo Pledge, a great cigar put up by a great company, comes in at an affordable price. And I'm drinking some scotch, drinking some Brooklotic. I said tonight I gotta go real with some scotch. All right, so first thing that's gonna happen is prices are gonna go down. My sister says the Oliva v. Melania Maduro overruns, $4 a stick. What are the overruns? It's the same thing. Sometimes when they're making a cigar, maybe there's a blemish on it. Maybe there's something that's just slightly off with the cigar. It's still the same tobacco. It's the same product. But because it's not perfect, because there's some kind of blemish, instead of selling it for 15, now they got to sell it for 4. You and I both know, here's the thing about cigars. You are going to put fire to it. You're going to burn it. It's going to end up as ashes. So we really don't care how it looks. So that little blemish means that you're going to save a ton. And so that's what, when we look at house blends and we look at some different things, that's all it is. There's something that was off when they rolled it. And so now they've got to adjust the price. And so we're getting this education. We're starting to realize stuff. Cigar smokers now, we're just simply a bit more educated than maybe 5-10 years ago, because there wasn't really content that educated like this. And so now that you're learning this stuff, when we can say, hey, look, this comes from the same field as that. Why does that cost 25 and this costs 10? I'm going to get the one that costs 10. You see, when we start getting smarter about what we're doing, they're going to take notice. My sister always sends me these Karen burgers, and I've talked to you guys about them. Those are cigars, amazing cigars, great cigars. She says, go ahead and get them on the show. You know what? I would love to have, because I like to represent everybody. So a lot of women smoke cigars. And so I would love to maybe even get Karen on here and talk about her journey in cigars. So to me, it ain't even just about the brand or it ain't even about the tobacco. It's about the journey. It's about the culture. It's about us educating us so that we can stop wasting our money. I love when I smoke a Karen Burger cigar. And if you guys don't know about it, check it out. They're great, flavorful, tasty cigars. Cost you like $8. The more Karen Burgers that we have out here, the more vows that we have out here, the prices are going to continue to go down. What did I wear today? Someone said earlier, Creed Aventus. I didn't wear Creed Aventus today, but I wore a Mont Blanc Explorer. And so it was just a regular day at work, casual Friday. So I sprayed on some Mont Blanc Explorer. Now, it smells just like Creed Aventus. Creed Aventus costs $400. Mont Blanc Explorer costs like $60. They both smell the exact same way. I got the same amount of compliments. Am I going to keep spending $400 on a fragrance when I can get it for $60? And so, my friends, the consumer, we're getting smarter about what we're doing here. Hopefully you're not hearing the neighbor's dog barking for some reason. All right. Young says he spent $350 on a Prensado. Here's the thing. The Alec Bradley Prensado was won Cigar of the Year. Now, in that year, the price probably went up to like $15, $18 because of hype. Now you can get that same cigar for like $3-4. I still smoke them. The consumer's starting to realize that the cigar really should only cost $4 to $8. Everything else is just hype and marketing. And again, the brands are starting to realize that we are waking up. And so we're not wasting our money anymore. We know what a good cigar tastes like. We know what a good scotch tastes like. Now, I could have gotten me some Macallan 18-year and spent $300. I got me this bottle of Brook Lodick 2013. Tastes amazing. And it's 50 ABV, so it's got some taste. It's got some fruity notes on here. It's a pleasant dram. And so first thing I think is going to happen, prices are going to go down. And if you just started smoking, I know you might think that, oh, that's impossible. No. This happens from time to time. The brands do what they think they can get away with. And you got guys like me that's watching. Brother Guns and Water says Buffalo Trace has benchmark. It's the same thing. It's from the same people who make Buffalo Trace and Blanton's and Eagle Rare and E.H. Taylor. It's the same thing, same people who make benchmark. Same mash bill. And so you can go out and get you that Elmer T. Lee. Spend $100 on it. It's the exact same product as what's in the benchmark. All they do, because I've been to these different distilleries, all they do is they take from the big old vats, they pour some into this bottle, they pour some into that bottle. This bottle, they're going to put on a Blanton sticker. This bottle, they put on the benchmark sticker. It's the same product. And as you and I just continue to learn this, in fact, I went to John Bowman's distillery out in Virginia, learned that Buffalo Trace pretty much sends them barrels and barrels of Blantons. They take it, put it in their own bottles, call it John H. Bowman. It's the same product. And so I spoke with the master distiller. I said, is it just Blantons made in Virginia? He kind of like nodded his head. As long as you and I just keep getting this education and sharing it with each other. That's why I'm here as a channel. Just to share this kind of stuff with the people, we'll be okay. So first bold prediction, prices are going to go down. Second bold prediction, and I was hoping you guys could have seen this a whole lot better. And this is going to sound like a crazy one. The cigars are going to start to taste better. I know that might seem like a crazy thing to say. Cigars are going to start to taste better. What do I mean by that? Again, the brands are going to do whatever they think they can get away with. 2-3 years ago, all the brands were just coming out with bland, boring Connecticut's. And they were just pushing it on the people. And what they tried to do, they tried to use marketing terms. They try to say, oh, this is for the refined aficionado. This has subtle and nuanced notes. And so they tried that. And so you remember the J. Londons, all these different brands were coming out and just selling basic Connecticut's that weren't even well aged. And they just tried to push that on us because they wanted us to think it's Cuban-esque. They wanted us to think that it was something special about it. They tried pushing those cigars on us, thinking we didn't know any better. But then a guy like me comes out and says, hey, look, nah, man, it don't taste like nothing. It tastes like hay. It tastes like paper. It tastes like grass. Can you make it taste good again? Can you make it? This is why I'm smoking tonight an EP Carrillo Pledge. It tastes good. It tastes like a chocolate bar. It's tasty. It's delicious. I've been talking a ton about Lampert Limitada. It's delicious. Avowed is delicious. There's always going to be a season of profile. And so when the Liga came out, it was about let's go stronger, darker. And then they kind of drifted away from that and said, oh, let's go subtle and nuance. And it takes you and I to say, no, no, make it taste good. Give us cigars that taste good. How many, I'm willing to bet over the past, who knows, 3-4 years, all the top cigars you've seen, they tasted like crap. They were not good. They were not good blends. They were just not good. I talk a lot about Liga Privada. Look, Liga Privada has taken the same cigar, the same blend, and they just keep repackaging it. They'll say, oh, it's the 10th anniversary. It's the 11th anniversary. It's the same cigar they made 10 years ago, the same blend, and they just changed the marketing on it. Now, if you and I just keep smoking it and we don't say nothing, they just gonna keep pushing it on us. But when a guy like me comes out and says, hey, these cigars taste like crap. These cigars taste like spicy dirt. These cigars don't even taste good no more. Can you make them taste good again? Of course, people get mad when a guy like me says it. But the brands are always listening. The brands are listening to you. They're listening to me. As Kevin says, look at these, and everything that I'm saying, there aren't many people, even though I say it all loud and energetic. And I'm only relighting the cigar a lot because I'm sitting here smoking and it's cold out. It's a great cigar. It's just me. Kevin has listed, these are all new companies. When these new companies start, what they're simply doing is listening to you all. He listed Definition, Chimoli, Avowed. These are all new companies. They all came out in the past 3 years. I've been smoking Definition all this week. I don't even know which ones I'm smoking because they all have different color bands, but they're all tasty. They all tend to look like Connecticut broadleafs. The Noir is African Cameroon. They're tasty cigars, all of them, and they're affordable, all of them. So we talked earlier about the Don Carlos. I don't really buy Don Carlos that much anymore. I just buy Definition Noir because it's African Cameroon and it's tasty and it's more affordable than a Don Carlos. So as much as I love Don Carlos, I just buy Definition Noir. I'm making a purchasing decision. You look at Chimoli. I literally smoked the Chimoli Pioneer earlier this week. I'm sorry, no, the Dynasty. I smoked a Dynasty earlier this week. It's tasty. It was delicious. And it's affordable. And again, Avowed. I'm ashamed to tell you how much Avowed I've been buying. They're affordable and they're tasty. Now, again, it might seem crazy that I'm saying cigars are gonna taste good again. But yeah, these companies that are coming out realize that they tried to just push any and everything on us, and the people rejected it. Those cigars sat on shelves. Nobody was buying those cigars. The new stuff that's going to be coming out, it's going to have taste. And you're seeing that already. You're seeing that the cigars are they're not strong because, again, we're not in that season or that profile where people are looking for strong cigars. People just want a cigar that's got some taste on it. And so don't be surprised when you start seeing cigars that just taste good. Why? Because that's what the people ask for. Oh, I love this prediction that my brother says. Since in 10 years or closer, we'll be going to places like Asia for cigars. Cuba started exchanging their crops and techniques for rice. That's an amazing point. You see, we teach each other. That's why the prices of cigars has skyrocketed, particularly Cuban cigars. Listen, we'll let you know what's going on in the industry in our own way. It used to be that Americans somehow bought their Cuban cigars. That's how Cuba was expecting to sell their cigars to the New World. A lot of Europe, a lot of America. America were the biggest buyers of cigars. But because of the Chinese economy that has done well, and they have a ton of middle class people, they've got 1 billion people. So if they have a growing middle class, that's 300 million people who can now have this resources to spend money on cigars. And so that's changed the luxury market. So if you ever wonder, where's all the Gucci? Where's all the Yves Saint Laurent? Where's all the Ferraris? It's in China now because they've got people who have expendable income. It used to just be us. We used to be the only ones who can spend $15, $20 on a cigar. Now you got in China, and I'm not talking about millionaires. I'm just talking about the middle class. That's grown tremendously in China. What do you buy when you become middle class and you start getting some expendable income? You start buying cigars. And so the Cubans realize that. And so now that's why you and I can't buy Cuban cigars, because they're all in China. The Chinese have just scooped them all up. As my brother says, he said there's been some exchange crops for rice, etc. And so I do think that's going to be an interesting dynamic. We'll see how that plays out. Because now if you want to go on a cigar trip, you're going to go to South America. You're going to go to Nicaragua, go to Cuba, go to the Dominican Republic. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to be, the impact that's going to have. All right, my brother, Charlie, what's happening, my friend? I'm also smoking an EP Carrillo. This is the pledge. All right, we're about to get into another one. But before we do this, all right, I'm gonna give away something. I always got to give away. I always want to give away something. So I've already given away the New Riff single barrel. I realized I got another New Riff. Now this isn't the single barrel. It's just in fact, this is the sour mash. And so really tasty, really good. New Riff is some good stuff. So we're good. I just give away stuff. So if anyone's new, you're like, why? That's just what I do. Every show, I just like to give away a bottle. In fact, on Sunday, I'm doing a video on my whiskey collection. And so my collection is just insane. Why? Because I had some expendable income and I just started buying bottles for no good reason. And now I look at my collection, I'm like, this is just it's too big. And so every show, I'm just trying to give away some stuff because I got more whiskeys than I could ever drink. And so again, on Sunday, since there's no more football, I'm going to be dropping a video just showing you my whiskey collection so you can understand why I try to give this stuff away. I looked at my collection last night. I got like 5 bottles of E.H. Taylor small batch. I got like 4 bottles of Eagle Rare. And so I'm just giving away stuff. So we just sharing with you, I guess, bold predictions. All right, we'll keep it simple. So hashtag bold, BOLD, hashtag bold. And on next week's show, somebody will get this bottle of New Riff. And so, we give it away. I mailed out 2 bottles yesterday. Mark got one, Daryl got one, Joe got some cigars, Old Fogey got some cigars, hashtag bold. And we'll get that. So next week's show, we'll be back next week. We're going to put on a good show next week. We're here next week. And then remember, I got Brian from Pravada. He's going to come on the 24th. And so we got some content lined up. You've been watching the content, and I'm looking to see what am I dropping next week. As you write that in, hashtag bold. So Sunday I'll show you my whiskey collection. I think Monday I'm gonna drop a video entitled "The Most Underrated Cigar." And so as we really start to understand where's the cigars coming from, it's all about where was it grown. And so I'm dropping that on Monday. I think on Wednesday I'm dropping a video entitled "The Smoothest Cigar I Ever Had." And so that one's coming out. And then on Thursday I'll probably drop a video entitled "Affordable Cigars." And so that's what we try to do. We're just helping the people out. And like I said, cigars are going to start being more affordable again. Cigars are going to start tasting good again. There's some stuff that's going to start happening in the cigar space. And so I'm smoking this EP Carrillo Pledge. My second cigar, this will shock you, and I did this on purpose. This is the My Father Blue. Why? Because I just wanted to be, not to say basic tonight, but I just wanted to be more legacy. I know I've talked bad about the My Father Blue. I don't love it, but it's a stick. It's smokable. But I'm loving this EP Carrillo. Notice, I'm drinking my scotch, my Brooklotic. But notice I'm not drinking that much, because I got so much to cover and so much to say. I need to make sure that I'm not slurring my words, and I need to be focused and calm, because we got some stuff to say tonight. All right, so you guys doing the hashtag bold. We'll give that away. My brother Johnny G. Yeah, my friend. Hey, check out the channel. I used to just do whiskey. And then I said, I smoke more than I drink. And so Johnny G is the king of the Arturo Fuentes. So make sure you check out his channel. Hashtag bold. Yeah, so Daryl Cobb got a bottle of the New Riff headed to him right now. One of you guys, Mark Perkins got a bottle headed to him right now. And so we'll be getting this out. Speaking of My Father, Le Bijou is good, and the Judge. In fact, I just did a video on cigars that I like to have with my coffee. And I like to have the Le Bijou with my coffee. All right, tonight's show, we're making some bold predictions. First one, cigar prices is going to go down. Cigars are going to taste good again, because the people have spoken. They tried to get over on the people. They tried to give us these boring cigars. When you reject that kind of stuff, they stop pushing it on you. So if you don't like cigars that they're pushing, just don't buy them. Don't buy it thinking you have to. Because again, I've been doing this for 15 years. There's seasons to this. So just stop buying it. They'll make the adjustment. And then you can start buying again. And so whenever the prices get out of control, just stop buying. When the taste profiles get a little boring and linear, just stop buying it. All right, we going in. Getting cold. I hope where you are is good weather. I'm in Southern California. I'm all bundled up. The weather, I mean, let's see. It's cold for me. It's 56 degrees. Remember, I'm from Miami, so this is cold for me. I normally would have my heater on, but then that'll make me sweat sometimes. In fact, I think that's another bold prediction right there. And that's what I love with this show. There ain't a lot of cigar shows where there's women in it. You watch my channel, read the comments. It's men and women. As you go to cigar lounges, what are you seeing? You're seeing men and women. So I do think that's going to happen. I think we're going to continue to have more women in the cigar spaces. And I think we're going to have younger people in the cigar spaces. And so it's not going to be this bougie, uppity thing, this boys club like it used to be. I think it's going to start to shift. But here's we're going to go for number 3. I like to have a little bit of fun. Listen, I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen in 2026 as far as cigars. So we'll talk about cigar taste, cigar price. But I do think even as far as cigar content, you're gonna see a great change in cigar content. All right, here we go. You can see this. You see the guy crying. I think you're gonna see a lot more. And I'm not being messy. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I think we're going to see more crying cigar content creators, and it's a season. Let me explain before you sign off. Let me explain. I was watching a video the other day. All right, let me do it this way. I'll do it this way. I put out some content this week. Didn't do that good. It's on me. I put out a video. I probably got to apologize. That video on the Johnny Tobacconate, I don't know what was wrong with the sound. The sound was just going in and out. The sound was not good. So the video didn't do that good. I mean, it got like 600 views, but that's not what I would expect. You know, when I expect, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, I expect some numbers. The video didn't do good. Probably the sound just wasn't good. I put out another video on Avowed, and the video didn't do good. That's on me, because most people who watch my content, you're used to me maybe talking about 5 or 10 cigars in one video. And so I usually don't do the quote unquote review. And I have to even realize that when I do those videos, it's not what my audience expects to see. So they expect to see energy and five, like earlier this week, I did a video, 5 cigars for when you're having coffee, something like that. That's what my audience expects to see. So when I do something that's different from that, the response is going to be different. But that's on me as the content creator. I can't get mad at YouTube. I can't get mad at other content creators. That's on me. I did something different that the audience wasn't expecting. And so I got to figure that out. How do I do this kind of video and keep the people engaged? But that's on me. Now, here's the reality. I'm probably going to end up taking those videos down because I don't like them. But that's on me. Because that's how I operate as a man. If I do something and it doesn't succeed, then I go back to the drawing board. So even though I've been doing this for like 3 years and I got videos that got 90,000 views, if something goes wrong, I'm going to say, hey, what do I need to change? What do I need to do different? Because that's how I think a man operates. You look in the mirror, you make the change, you make the shift. One of the things I think you're going to continue to see, because yes, and we see this already. I was watching a video the other day, and the guy was saying something along the lines of, things cigar content creators do that I don't like that they do. I felt as if the video should have just been entitled "Things Rise and Grind Does That I Don't Like That He Does, and I Hate That He Does It, and I Hate He Gets Away With It." Or the video should have been entitled "My Channel is Struggling, and this is a last-ditch effort to get some views." And I think you're going to start to see a lot of that. You're going to start to see a lot of these videos where guys come out and say the things the other content creators are doing that's pissing us off. And really what they're saying is, we're struggling, other people are not struggling, and we're mad about that. And what they do, they'll do a video or even a whole live stream, and it's really just a last-ditch effort to like save their channel. It's a last-ditch effort to say, hey, somebody look at me, make me relevant again. I think what you're going to see a constriction of cigar content. You're going to start to see a lot of cigar content creators who realize that, yeah, this stuff is hard. It's hard to put out 3-4 videos a week and do a live and put out shorts. A lot of people started channels, 2-3 years ago thinking it was easy. They had some quick success. And I think a lot of them are starting to see that it ain't easy. You got to put some work into this thing. You got to have some character, some personality, some energy. You got to be able to do this. What you're going to see in the immediate future, you're going to see a lot of videos of people angry and mad and like saying stuff like, oh, I'm mad that these guys do this. I'm mad these guys do that. You're going to see that in the immediate. That's just a last-ditch effort to save their channel before they just realize that, look, just hang it up. It ain't working. Just wrap it up. They're going to start it's controversy. Whenever somebody is struggling, they try controversy. So you're going to see some controversy. You're going to see some controversial videos. To me, that's just a Hail Mary. That's someone saying, hey, look, let me start some controversy. Let me do a video that says, oh, here's what Rise and Grind did, or here's what somebody did that I don't like. And that's just their last ditch effort to save the channel. Like my brother says, look, there's an algorithm to this. I do the top 5 things, and then that's just my thing. That's just what I do. Now, if someone else tries that, it might not work for them. So you got to stick to what you do and focus on what you do and put the work into what you do. Like my brother said, you got to rise, you got to grind. When I realize if I put out some videos and they don't do that good, there's a season, there's a cycle. I'm going to look at it and say, okay, well, maybe I was just off. Maybe this just ain't my month right now. Maybe people are watching something else. But whatever I decide, it's going to be on me to decide. It's going to be a reflection of me. What I think you're going to start to see, and again, and I'm only saying this because it's going to relate to cigar content. Look, I'm the cigar prophet. So over the next 2 months, you're going to see a ton of videos along the lines of, and let's talk about this. Will YouTube increase restrictions on cigar content? No, YouTube ain't worried about no cigar content. Remember when everybody said that a year ago? That was just a response. They realized their views were down, and so they came up with an excuse. There was no restriction. There was no, it was made up. This is why I like to share what I'm sharing with you guys, to let you know that, look, in the next 2 months, what you're going to start to see, brother says, my content is unique. I'm a cigar prophet. Going back to my sister's question, YouTube ain't bothering nobody. YouTube does not care. If the algorithm is rocking with you, if you putting out content that the people want to see, the people are going to watch it. What's going to happen is a lot of these guys, they're going to realize their views are dropping off. Not because of YouTube, just because people don't want to watch it anymore. What they're going to do as a last-ditch effort is they're going to say stuff like, YouTube is doing something to me. one of the things people do when you want to get attention is you gotta make up some kind of enemy. We see this happening in politics all the time. You gotta make up a boogeyman. You gotta make up a bad guy. You gotta make up a villain. And sometimes the villain is gonna be YouTube. YouTube is censoring us. So help us. Hit like, subscribe, comment. Or they'll say something like, channels like Rise and Grind is doing something wrong. So let's do something. It's a marketing ploy. It's a tactic. Controversy sells, and so you're gonna see some of that. And I'm the cigar prophet. Look, you're gonna see that over the next 2 months. You're gonna see people just coming out saying the most wild. God honest truth. I was watching a video 2 days ago. Like I said, the video was like, things cigar content creators do that piss me off. I'm like, dude, ain't nobody pissing you off. Your channel's struggling, and this is your last ditch effort to get some views. What happens when they do one of those kind of videos, they're gonna get some views. A couple, maybe they get double the amount they normally get. And then their views count is gonna plummet again. Because people just ain't watching it no more. Bro says, look, I'm ahead of the curve. You just gotta open your eyes, have some wisdom about you, and then live some life. There's people, we see this in hip hop. Your album sales ain't doing good. What do? You start a beef. Start a beef with somebody. Call somebody's name. That's a tactic to get some views. That's a tactic people use to sell some records. Again, the problem with that is when you use the tactic. My brother said, I'm giving the game away. Nah, here's the thing. I can give the game away and it don't even matter. Like Jay-Z said, if they said they made me, tell them make another me. The reason why I can give the tactic and the game away is because most people don't have the work ethic to rise and grind and actually, I can give my whole blueprint for my whole channel away, and most people just don't have the work ethic or the talent to even pull it off. Does it sound like I'm talking crap? I'm being honest. I'm just being honest. That's why I don't mind saying it, because I know most people won't even learn from it or even heed to what I'm saying. So what you're going to see, and why am I mentioning this? Because I do think it's going to have an impact on cigar content. You're going to have people who their last ditch effort to save their channel is going to be, let's start some controversy. Let's do something crazy. The problem with when they do that, it gets them some views for that video. But then when you go back to their next video, they go right back to doing the same crap they were doing. And the audience realizes that. That's why I can say this, because I know the people who are going to do this, they're going to do it. And then their next video is going to be crap again. And what's going to happen is they're going to have the last ditch effort. They're going to start a controversy, say something crazy. That's going to be their way of saving their channel. And when that doesn't work, then they're just going to, then they're going to do one of those videos that says, I'm leaving YouTube for this reason or for that reason. And so we see this from time to time. A lot of people start channels. My brother, you got a channel, Charlie? I'm gonna check it out. Go ahead and plug it. We'll check it out. Make sure it's good. We will check it out. To do this, and for the content creators out here, just be authentic, be real. I've done videos on this and saying, you're not gonna blow up because of the product. You're not gonna blow up because of the controversy. You're not gonna blow up because of other people. You gotta figure out, what do you do well? And you gotta figure out how to do it. You gotta put the time into it, the effort into it. You just gotta do the work. And then when people don't do the work, then they try a little controversy. When the controversy doesn't work, then they do the whole YouTube is stopping us or killing us. Or they'll say crazy stuff like YouTube only pushes this guy. And that's why I come out here and say, look, YouTube ain't pushing me. I'm the most religious. I used to start my shows off with a prayer. I forgot to pray today. I talk about Jesus. I talk about guns. I smoke cigars. I drink whiskey. I'm military. YouTube ain't trying to push me. But the people rock with it. So again, what's going to happen is what you're going to see is there's going to be a little controversy. There's going to be some kind of thing they come up with. Then it's going to be we're leaving. And here's why I mentioned it. Let me get to the point. The reason why I'm mentioning this, I think in about 6 months, what's going to happen is you're going to see a constriction. Right now, there's probably 200 cigar content channels. If we're being honest, look, I'm not talking smack, but I'm just being honest here. Most channels are not doing well. Most channels can't say, hey, every video, I put out a couple videos a week and they all do good. Most channels can't say that. Most lives can't say, oh yeah, I do a live, it's good. I got to get some people on here. Most people have tried it. Everyone has tried it. I think what's going to happen in about 6 months, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, let me stop. Let me wrap this up. It ain't working. And then you're going to see a constriction of the market. So now there's 200 YouTube content creators. In about 6 months, it'll probably be down to like 20. Not because of YouTube, but just because people realize that, yeah, it ain't for them. Content creation is not for everybody. I'm sitting here talking to you for an hour, 20 minutes. I done dropped 3 videos this week. I'm dropping like 4 videos next week. That's work. Now, it ain't hard work for me because I enjoy it and I got some kind of talent, but everybody can't do that. So I do think you're going to see a constriction in the cigar content space. Why does that matter? It's good when we have a lot of voices. That's good. It can get dangerous if there's only a few, especially if the brands own most of them. And so I do think that this is why I think the power of the people is so important. And so when there's only 10 cigar content channels and 5 of them are sponsored by a cigar brand, this is where we really gotta look. My brother says, some of us, we play in chess, not checkers. Some of us, we see stuff way down the line. Some of us, my brother says, he appreciates the intellectualism. This channel ain't about cigars and whiskey. This is about people talking. This is about a guy who has something to say, and I'm sharing it with you in an intellectual way. Sometimes I'll do it in a funny way. Sometimes I'll be dramatic, controversial. It doesn't matter. But again, most people don't necessarily agree with what I'm saying. They just don't like it that I'm the one saying it. And so just imagine the landscape. And so when this happens, remember this live stream. Remember when I said it. 6 months from now, we got 20 YouTube cigar content channels. Half of them are sponsored by brands. That's almost like saying, what if the media was owned by corporations? What kind of news would you get? And so what I'm saying is, look, the people got to stay on this, because we're going to see a constriction. We're going to see more ownership. But the voice of the people has to always be recognized. And so, my friends, I started the show off by saying the brands are listening to you. I said a second ago, look, ain't a lot of channels having success. Listen, everybody tries to do a live stream. Cigars Unbanded is the only YouTube channel that's successfully doing cigar content live streams. One. There's one. And me. There ain't a ton of channels who successfully puts out at least 2-3 videos a week that are actually successful. You're going to see a constriction in that. A lot of people are going to this is going to hang it up and say, hey, look, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm concerned about what happens to the space when that happens. What happens when there's only about 10 or 15 channels? What happens if most of them are sponsored? The people. I said earlier, I think cigar prices are going to go down because the people stop buying expensive cigars. I think cigars are tasting better now because the people said, make your cigars taste better. The people will always speak. All right, my brother, about to go watch a movie. Enjoy the movie, my friend. Happy President's Day. Like I said, we doing this on Friday nights. I think later in this month, we're going to have Brian with Pravada. The stuff I talk about, I'm just sharing with you my perspective. I don't really care about the brands and this and that. My concern is the cigar culture. And imagine when you take a guy like me with a little bit that I know, and you combine that with a guy like Brian from Pravada, with the much that he knows. This is I think we're in a good space right now. I think we're starting to pull back the curtains. We're starting to pull back the curtains and really see stuff. And again, yes, I got much love for those who used to do it. I always talk about Charles Wallenfoot and Cigar Vixen, but I do think one thing that was always missed. Oh yeah, we got Cigar Life Banks doing this thing. We're seeing a shift. So again, remember everyone said, "Oh, YouTube is stopping us." Stopping us. When they were saying that nonsense, Cigar Life Bank started a channel. I think his first video got like 300,000 views. Brother's got 19,000 subscribers. Every video he puts out gets 3,000-4,000 views. So YouTube ain't stopping nothing. What's going to happen? Again, you're going to hear people say a whole bunch of stuff. YouTube is stopping us. Okay, yeah, whatever, sure. In about 6 months, all that's going to be left is the Rise and Grinds, the Cigar Life Banks, the Cigar Hound Dogs, the Cigars Unbanded. It's going to be very limited. And so I just encourage all of us to just remain authentic, remain true to the people. And I tell the people, I tell you what I tell my church members. I say, look, you ain't got to vote the way I vote. You ain't got to think the way I think, but you got to think. You see, I'm the kind of guy I encourage you to think. You don't have to think what I think. If you disagree, that's fine. But I encourage you to think. So this is a thinking man's channel. Like my brother said, look, this is chess. This ain't checkers. We looking at stuff 6 months, a year down the line. I am the cigar prophet. We say stuff today, and it comes true later. All right, so I'm finishing up. I'm enjoying this EP Carrillo pledge with my Brooklotic, drinking some scotch. Whenever I drink scotch, I become an intellectual. Okay, we talking about making bold cigar predictions. Cigar prices are going to go down because the people stop buying the expensive stuff. Cigars are going to taste better. So if you're new to cigars, good. You're coming at the right time. They're going to taste better because the people have spoken. There's going to be less noise in the cigar content space. Before there's less noise, there's going to be a lot of controversy. There's going to be lots of people mad. But again, to those who are mad because you're not being pushed out, you lost. Your moment's over. You're just not relevant anymore. It's okay. It's going to happen to me. It will happen to me at some point. People will stop watching my channel at some point. But I just got to look within myself and say, oh man, my moment's over. Okay, well, what do I do now? And it's okay. It's okay when it happens. One of my favorite players of all time, Chris Paul, retired today. It's going to happen. He got waived by his team. He's coming off the bench. He's like, you know what, man? After 21 years, let me go ahead and hang this thing up. We all ain't going to be LeBron just doing it forever. Your moment's going to end. And when your moment ends, just bow out gracefully. We don't need to see that video of what cigar contents do that pisses me off. Ain't nobody pissing you off. Your view count is pissing you off. That's what's pissing you off. Just fade into the sunset. It's okay. Now, when that happens, when we see the constriction, make sure, again, hold me accountable if I'm still around. The people. I don't mind the people protesting me. But I want to make sure the people are always expressing their voice. All right. And my brother says, look, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not steering you in no direction. I'm just giving you the information, letting you draw your own conclusion. Bold cigar prediction. So please, I want you guys to continue making your predictions. What else I think is going to happen? This is like number 4. Fewer limited editions. Remember when they was always pushing limited edition? Nah, look. It's hard for them to use those marketing tricks when there's education. So when a guy like me says, look, it ain't limited. They just only release a small batch of it. It ain't limited. They just playing games with you. It ain't limited. They grew it from the same field. They just capped the amount that they grew. When I start saying stuff like, well, define limited. Limited in what way? What was your limiting factor? Did you limit your production so you can increase the price? You see, when we start having people with business degrees talking and saying, hey, define what do you mean by limited? Limited in what regards? Limited edition, but you release it every year. Okay. I think with the education, we're not going to be having that anymore. When we call things out and we speak truth to power, all of a sudden, so we all just laugh and we say, look, ain't no limited. Y'all making up stuff. Now the next time a brand wants to put limited edition on their cigars, we looking at them and we laughing at them. The people will always win. And so I think that's what's going to happen. Won't be no more limited edition. I think that stuff's going to, because it wasn't always the case. Five years ago, there wasn't no limited edition. Look, I've been smoking Padrones and Arturo Fuente and Oliva. I ain't never had no limited edition. That's just something they came up with in the past 2 to 3 years. You know how okay. You know how we talk about all these different pronouns, all this new stuff, all that stuff new. Yeah, this is all new stuff, my friends. Ain't never been no limited edition before. 5 years ago, no cigar was no limited edition. The closest thing you had to limited edition was Cuban regionals, but that's just based on a place. When we laugh at the brands and we say, look, stop it. In fact, let's do this. So we did hashtag bold, and we're giving away another bottle of New Riff. This ain't the same bottle. There's a new bottle. I like to have some fun. I'm going to give away my cigar journal to this person. Hashtag limited. Hashtag limited. Go ahead. Hashtag limited. Let me catch my breath. Hashtag limited. And I'll send that person next week my cigar journal. Hashtag limited. Because the brands are watching. And I think it's important that we speak to the brands. They watch. They've changed their pricing. They're making better cigars. And the whole point of this show is to remind us, you're in charge. You're in charge. You didn't have to spend $50 on no cigar. You didn't have to smoke tasteless cigars. You didn't have to chase after no limited. The only reason we did that is because we stopped talking. We did that to ourselves, and the brands just got crazy. But again, I'm here to let the brands know that, nah, we see you. We watching you. We're not stupid. I think it's important when we just speak truth to power. And we say, hey, look, we're not. And here's what we got to do. When they come out with a limited edition, just look at it and walk away. Let that thing sit on a shelf. I was in Total Wines yesterday. I saw they had a bottle of Blantons for $90. I'm like, $90? Are you crazy? I got like 3 bottles of them for $50 already. I ain't giving you no $90. That box of Blantons been sitting there for like a month. Nobody's buying it. When the people, we speak with our words, when we chat, when we type stuff in the chat, but also with our dollars. When we say, look, I ain't buying that. I ain't buying your limited edition. Figure out how you can mass produce it, and then I'll think about purchasing it. The power is with the people, my friends. The power is always with the people. All right, I wanted to switch to my second cigar, but I'm smoking this EP Carrillo Plash. This thing is smoking so good. I'm about to nub this thing. I got me a My Father Blue, and I said, all right, for the sake of the show, all right, I'm going to put this out prematurely. I'm really enjoying this. But I want to get to my Father Blue. I'm going to smoke this for a little bit. Now, again, I love that Lampert Limitada. Okay, I guess I'm contradicting myself. Was that limited? I don't know if it was limited, even though it's called limited. But that was a good cigar, though. But as I said earlier, companies like Lampert, they could have charged $25 for that cigar easily. I would. The cigar is good. They could have charged $30 for that cigar. And again, I think, and I'm not judging them, but I do think that if this was maybe 3 years ago, maybe they would have charged $30 for the cigar because they would have gotten away with it. But now, like I said, I got the cigar. I might have paid $15 each for a box of them. And so I don't really see it as limited. When it came out, I bought a box. And, again, it is a small company. So they can't mass produce like Oliva or like My Father. So there are boutique brands that they're not going to make, 100,000 boxes. But the fact that they made it and they kept the price where they did, props to them. And I think when we support those kind of things, all it means is the other companies can't. And so everyone, all these cigar guys, they smoked the Lampert Limitada. If Lampert comes out with a great cigar, price is like $15 or so, Crown Heads can't come out with a $25 cigar that tastes like crap. They might have had one in the wing, but now they can't even release it. You remember how back in the days, if Tupac had an album coming out or DMX had an album coming out, if your album wasn't good, you didn't even put that thing out. I think that's what's going to happen in the cigar space. When the good companies are putting out good cigars, the crap companies they're gonna just have to fall back. And they can't even put out them cigars they would have put out because you and I are not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy a $25 limited edition Crown Heads that's gonna taste like crap again when I got the Lampert Limitada. That's amazing for 15. All right, we now 40 minutes in. So I switched to the My Father Blue. I don't love this cigar, but I said, look, I mentioned it in the video the other day, and I always want to just stay true to what I said. I said I smoke this sometimes when I have a coffee. I'll see how it pairs with my scotch. To me, it's just a basic cigar. It's the definition of mediocre, and that's fine. Sometimes you want a cigar that's just a cigar, like Sigmund Freud said. And that, to me, that's what the cigar is. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste bad. It's just mediocre. Yeah. Like, there's no way. Oh, so bold predictions. I bet you Rocky Patel don't do it again. I bet you Rocky Patel doesn't put out another cigar that's for $100. I bet you he doesn't anymore, because it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work if you got Lamberts and Avowed and these newer companies, Definition. Just like you see in a constriction, even in cigar content space, you're gonna see a constriction in the makers. You're gonna notice, what happened to that company? What happened to this company? The Definitions, the Lamberts, the Avoweds, the Chamolis. That's what happened. Simply put, you just got to stay on top of your game. Just like you and I have to do every single day we go to work. We got to give our best. These companies were putting out mediocre products, and they thought they can just coast. And now you got Lamberts, you got Avowed, and now they're being pushed out. All right, we're gonna speed this up. I wish you guys could have seen this a little bit bigger. Hopefully you can see it well. Next thing I think is going to happen, I think there's going to be less hype, more substance. Bold prediction. So prices are going to go down. Taste is going to go up. There's going to be less content creators, less limited edition, and less hype. I truly think that. It's going to be less hype. It's going to be more substance. It's going to be just getting back to what is good. You may think this is crazy, but we used to be in that place. It used to be, hey, a good cigar came out and we bought it and we smoked it. There was no story behind it. There was no hype behind it. I do think we're going to get back to that place. Less hype, more substance. As we wrapping this thing up, next thing I think is going to happen, the rise of the value brands. I think we're really going to see this. And so right now we call them boutique. We're seeing a lot of that. My brother just mentioned Definition. We're seeing that. We're seeing the Avoweds. We're seeing the rise of the boutique brands. I also think you're going to see a rise of the value brands. There's brands out here who, for a while, people just used to make fun of them, look down on them. I do think we're going to see them come back. Nobody talks about the Macanudos. Nobody talks about there's tons of brands out here. They used to put out good products. I do think we're going to get back to that. Certainly, I mean, CAO is owned by General Cigars, but I'm just saying, for example, the Flatheads, those kind of things. I think we're going to get back to that. Even the Rocky Patels. I think we're going to get back to that. The brands are going to do what they think they can get away with doing. If Rocky Patel thinks he can sell a $100 cigar, he's going to sell a $100 cigar. But if the people are speaking and the people are saying, no, give us more Edge Habanos. Give us more Decades. Give us more of the stuff you used to do that we liked. Give us more of that stuff. Rocky Patel tried doing the ALR and all this fancy stuff. Rocky 60 and... Why? Because he thought that was the play. He thought it was going to work. He thought the people would buy it, and the people did buy it. I do think we're going to get back to a place where there's more of the, hey, no, go back to doing what you used to do. Give us the Brazilias. Give us the stuff we just regular people want to smoke. And again, you and I, we got to be the ones driving this. So when they come out with the regular cigars, and that's why I'm smoking the My Father Blue. when they come out with these cigars, look, go ahead and support it. Don't just wait for the limited edition and the expensive. No, just buy good cigars and support companies that's making good cigars. So like I said, definition, that Noir is amazing. Love that cigar. When they come out with these cigars, you gotta support them. Like my brother said, make cigars affordable again. That's our motto. Make cigars affordable again. And if you're getting anything from this live tonight, you know who has the power to do that? You and I. We got to buy this stuff. So if you keep wasting all your money buying all this, Atabey Black came out, I'm going to buy. All right. Then they just going to keep making them and not making the stuff that you and I really want to buy. So support these brands. All right, we're wrapping this up. All right, this is a good question. This is a good question. I want to tackle this. Give me a little break here. In fact, I'm gonna let the chat help him out. I'm gonna let the chat help him out. In fact, let's do this. Any of the cigar content channels on here, any of the cigar aficionados, any of the cigar experts, can you let me know what plume is? This is going to be a good one. I did not plan this. Can somebody who knows so much about cigars explain to my brother what plume is? Explain to those who may not know. Because I realize a lot of people watch this who they probably just started smoking in the past year or two. Can anybody let us know what is plume? Brother Mark says, ain't no difference. It's mold. Ain't no damn plume. All right, so it's a great question. And I'm going to really drive home a point here. Why? Because you know who told people about plume? Cigar content creators. Listen, if you ever think, okay, where does Rise and Grind get all this energy and this passion from? Because I'm watching my people be led astray. When I watch these companies come out of nowhere, I've been smoking Rocky Patel's for like 10 years. When I watch him come out with $100 cigar, knowing it ain't no good, I gotta say something. It fires me up. And so when I say what I say is what I meant. When I say, hey, look, there's going to be a constriction as far as cigar content, because now there's like 200 cigar content creators, and it probably only really needs to be like 20. And so a lot of them are going to shut down their channels. Am I happy that they failed? In some ways I am. You know why? Because them are the folks was telling people about plume, making up stuff. We've been making up stuff for, there ain't no plume. It's mold. But a cigar content creator got a camera and a mic and said, it's plume. And if you let it sit there for a long time, it's going to get better. And the oils are going to rise. And it's called fungus. It's mildew. It's mold. But somebody had a camera and a mic and called it plume. And the people listened to it. And the people kept saying it and saying it and saying it. And so when the guys like me come out of nowhere, I'm like, hey, what is y'all talking about? That's mold. Take that off your cigar. Don't smoke that. That's mold. It's going to kill you. It's mold. It looked like I'm being aggressive. My friends, there's people out here saying the craziest things. I don't want to go into it, but again, they come out with these things they say, and then it's usually a product that's going to be associated with it. And so now I guess the biggest thing is the digital thermometer for your cigar to measure your cigar. Like, look, when did that come out? Like, A lot of this is just marketing. A lot of this is, I hate to say it, but it's false news, fake news. A lot of it is just wrong. And that's why I don't mind the constriction as far as content. So maybe the people who are remaining, you can look and say, hey, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. And it ain't just some guy who bought a camera and is just saying what he heard other people say. There ain't no plume. It's just mold. And the fact that, yeah, so we have an entire generation of smokers now. There's probably people who, and I'm just clicking on what folks are saying. I'm just clicking on what folks are saying. But you got to ask ourselves, how do we get to this point? Because somebody said it on a video or on a live stream, and the people didn't check it. We didn't say, you a liar. Ain't no plume. That's mold. This is why I say, look, I'm the cigar prophet. What most people have to live out, and just like how we can look at the plume and say, oh, that was funny. Somebody said that 5 years ago, and we believed it. What about the stuff they're saying now that it's going to take you 5 years to realize it was a lie? So that's what we're here to do. What's an example? Plume. They sold us a whole lie. Folks got plume. You say plume is the new Coke. It's just marketing. Bro says just keep it at the right humidity, and you won't have the plume. Your cigars would say, "All right, look, you don't need to throw them away." No, I mean, look. I don't know what your situation is. I think you can wipe it off. If you can just wipe it off and it's off, then you're fine. And again, I'm not trying to we're not making fun of you or nothing like that. I'm just saying it was a marketing ploy. It was a marketing trick that people used. Now, I don't want to contradict what I said, but as you age your cigar, you will notice a difference in your cigars. More shrinkage. Your cigars are going to seem to be smaller. And that's where people always say, like this cigar. Notice the band, well, the band's moving a little bit. When you age your cigars, you're going to notice, hey, the band moves a lot. And that's why all my videos, I always start off by just saying, oh, dang, the band's coming right off. Because all my cigars are well aged. That's the number one sign for aged cigars. You're going to see that shrinkage, which that's just simply a releasing of moisture. It happens in everything. It happens with whiskey. Whiskey does the same thing. As the liquid evaporates and then the alcohol content goes up, and same thing with whiskey. When you age whiskey, there's going to be that shrinkage. And so if they put 100 gallons in a barrel, it's going to be 85 in 12 years. There's always going to be that natural shrinkage. Same thing's going to happen with your cigar. It's going to get slightly smaller. That's because the humidity is being released from it. I don't know where it goes, but now some people say the oils are going to rise up and sit on the wrapper. So you might see something, but certainly if it's white, that may not be what you want to see. Just wipe it off and keep it going. Someone said, get you some Boveda. Check out my videos when I do cigar humidors. So the technology for cigar humidors has increased a lot. Back in the days, you just had to wing it. You had to use all kind of water and all kind of crazy stuff. Nowadays, humidors come with built-in humidification. So the ones I'm always pushing on you, again, I'm always just trying to help the people. The Glen Craigs I'm always talking about, they have built-in humidification. So they maintain their humidity as well as the temperature. So the technology exists, or Boveda. Boveda is going to also provide that. Yeah, my brother, what whiskey is called angel share. In other spaces, it's just shrinkage. Sometimes things get a little bit smaller. But again, the big thing I keep saying tonight is we're here to bring you education. I usually do it more entertaining, more controversial, because sometimes you got to put the sugar in the medicine. Sometimes you got to do it in a way that makes people laugh and dramatic. But it's always going to be real and authentic. And that's the thing where I think a lot of content creators don't understand that. We're here to teach. I'm not asking nothing from you. Just here to teach. Share some information. Why? Because I've been doing this for a little while. And what we're seeing is, what happens when we don't have the right people teaching? We got folks smoking mold, thinking it's cool. All right, we got to wrap this up. All right. Bowl cigar predictions. I do think milder cigars will dominate. Maybe I was being probably shouldn't have said dominate, but I do think there's going to be a reoccurrence of that. That doesn't mean boring cigars. That just means I do think, you're at a base. I do think, I'm not saying out of base, but I do think cigars that aren't like powerful, but are just simply good and still tasty. I do think you're gonna get more of that. Things happen in seasons, and so I do think there was a time for strong cigars, and it's usually going to be a pendulum swing. In most things, it's going to go to the left, to the right. We've had the strong cigars. I do think you're going to start to see more of the tasty Connecticut's. Next on here, I say cigar lounges will evolve. I mentioned that earlier, so I'll say it really quickly as we approach the 2-hour mark. Make sure you hit the like button. Come on, hit like. Come on. We bringing you solid content on our Friday night. It ain't like I've been off all day resting, getting ready for this. I was at work since 7 a.m, got off at 10, and now I'm here helping y'all. So hit like. Come on, hit like. Hit the like button. Engage. Type something. Don't be that guy. You sitting here getting all this good game, all this information. Some of y'all been on the whole time. So hit like. Cause just not even for me, because I'm gonna be good regardless. But just so that others can get the good information. So make sure you're hitting the like button. We sharing with you 10 bold predictions. And here's what's going to happen. When you see all this stuff playing out, you're going to be like, oh man, he said that back in February. He was right. I mean, so go ahead and support the movement now. Don't be a bandwagon guy. Don't try to jump on the bandwagon 6 months from now. Be part of the reason why Rise and Grind really got out there. So hit like, because that's how the algorithm works. You support this. I ain't messing with nobody tonight. I'm not, no trolls. I'm not saying nothing mean. Just sharing some information. Just good content. And we help each other. My brother says, he puts them in the freezer. All right. I've never done that. I did have a cigar, and I got this cigar from the shop, and I saw like a little hole in it. And I was like, "Oh, is that a beetle? A beetle hole?" So I just trashed that cigar because I was like, "I'm not keeping this. I'm not gonna have a beetle infestation in my humidor." And so a lot of the technology today, I do think cigars, before we get them, that they are frozen, or something happens to it. And so a lot of stuff they used to deal with back in the days, like beetles and all that kind of stuff, get you some Boveda packs. Make sure you have a good humidor. You got to keep that measurement. Get you a hydrometer. You got to know what your measurement looks like. So it's not a science project, but you got to know what's going on in your cigar box. And so you can go with the thermoelectrics. I got a lot of those. But you got to maintain it like anything else. I mean, I'm a big wine guy. I got a wine fridge that maintains my wine at certain temperatures. So you just got to do it. It's not hard, but you got to do something. But as I was saying, I think the cigar lounge space is going to change. I mentioned this earlier. You're going to see more women in there, more young people, more business professionals, more millennials. Generation A, whoever. You're going to see more people, more different kind of people. It ain't going to be the boys club anymore. I do think we're going to start to see more people. When I go to lounges, I just love, I told my wife the other day, I had to explain it. I said, I don't like going to lounges that's only for guys. Not that I want to see women, but I'm just saying, I want to make sure it's a space where anybody would go and chill. Some lounges, you walk in and you know it's just for guys. It smells like manhood. I mean, I think we're seeing a change in that. I love sitting down, having good conversation with everybody. Men, women, all different races of people, different ages of people. Some cigar lounges is just for the old timers. And some is just for the guys. I think you're gonna see more a difference. And with that, in fact, if you go some places like DC, you're going to see cigar lounges that's owned by women. Like one of my favorite lounges, one of the best lounges in DC is Shelly's Back Room. Another great cigar lounge in DC is, I think it's called TG. And so last week I had Old Fogey on. He was talking about in Kansas City, the lounge he goes to is owned by a woman. And so we're going to start to see more of that in 2026. All right, so we wrapping this up. I don't know what number I'm on. What's up, everybody? 10 bold predictions. I'm the Cigar Prophet. Prices are coming down. Cigars are going to taste a little bit better. We're going to see less content creators, for the good or for the bad. I think the cigar lounge space is going to change. And where am I? So, cigars will taste better. There's going to be more emotional cigar content creators, at first. And then they'll fade away. Fewer limited editions. So that moment's going to pass. I don't even know why we allowed it. Less hype, more substance. Cuban cigars will be back. All right, that's a bold prediction. Now, I know I talked about the whole Chinese market last year. Last hour. We're on 2 hours, my friends. Support this. I do think the Cuban... I mentioned the whole Chinese thing. Chinese have, their middle class has grown. They have more expendable income. I do think that's why the prices have gone up on Cuban cigars. But America is America. We will always have the biggest purchasing power. I do think the Cuban situation is going to get resolved. I don't think it's sustainable. Think about the Chinese market. It fluctuates. American market, whether we have money or not, we buy liquor and tobacco. And I think the Cubans are going to have to, some point, come back our way. So I do think that's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, whether it's a political thing, because we got the tariff situation and the embargoes and all that. But I do think because I don't think it's sustainable for Americans to not buy Cuban cigars. I don't think you can have any market that excludes Americans. And if you're charging Americans, $30 for some little Corona-sized Cuban, and we don't buy it, I think that market's going to collapse. And so I do think, and let me know your thoughts. I feel like I've been talking a ton. Let me know your thoughts. I do think there's going to be a correction as far as the Cuban market. All right. So I'm enjoying this. My Father Blue. I might talk bad about it, but it hits the spot. It does what a cigar should do. So it's the perfect cigar for if you're playing golf, or if you just want to just have a good cigar. It's not going to bother you. It's not going to wow you. It's the My Father Blue. again, I like to have this with coffee because I'm a big coffee fan. And so I wouldn't call it a yard gar. I wouldn't go as that far. It's a good quality cigar, but it's that cigar if you're drinking a good cup of coffee or if you're having some scotch, it's going to blend in with anything. Brother Mark talks about the cigar lounges. It's a spot for guys, every aspect of society, Boy Scouts, men, different type of men. I mean, I do understand. I understand what you're saying, Mark, that, yeah, sometimes, we just want the fellas. I get it. But sometimes the fellas, I like the spice sometimes a woman brings into a space. I like the kind of cigar lounge where, yes, it's always going to be just, mainly the guys. But every now and again, you see a lady come in there. And I think that says something about a space. Because if your space is not inviting to where women are going to come in, I think that's saying something. Just like this channel. If I'm doing these lives and there's never a woman in here, that means my language is probably too masculine. I'm not being inclusive. And that means I'm limiting the impact of the show. And so I think some spaces do that. And so I think if you only have older men in your lounge, then there's something you're doing. It should be for everybody. All right, my brother just jumped on real quick. Appreciate you, my friend. Remember all the different hashtags we did tonight. So we did the hashtag bold. We're giving away this bottle of New Riff. We'll give this away next week. And I think I did hashtag, I can't even remember. Something to get my cigar journal. I can't remember what it was. All right, we're wrapping this up because I am exhausted. All right. We're doing a 2-hour show. One guy just talking the whole time. Didn't have a guest tonight. But I'm gonna be, yeah, I'll see. And let me know if you like the whole guest thing. I like to get on here and talk. And sometimes I forget I have a guest. And so I was watching the replay of last week. I'm like, damn, I didn't even let him talk. Because I realized that, maybe when Brian's on, maybe I'll interview him and ask him questions, but I come on here to talk. I come on here to ramble. I come on here to stand on my soapbox. All right, yeah, it was hashtag limited. Thank you, my friend. Hashtag limited. I'll send you my cigar journal. As we wrap this thing up, I think Cuban cigars are coming back. Value brands, I think we're going to see an increase in that. Milder cigars will make a playback. Is this it? Cigar lounges will evolve. And aging and collecting will surge. And so, it's so funny. We had a conversation about plume versus mold. And I think we're just going to get back to that place where you buy your cigars. You care for your cigars. You age your cigars. I tell you guys all the time. They all from the same place. You just got to take care of them. You can buy you that $4 cigar. It's going to taste good. Just age it for a couple years. I think we're going to get back to doing that. Where cigars, I think we fell out of a place. It used to be an art form. Like my wife's big into plants. So every day she comes home, she'll start spraying her plants and pruning them and doing all that stuff. And while she's doing that, I'm checking on my cigars. Especially if we've been away, let's say we've been away for like a weekend or something. I'll get back and I'll start playing with my cigars. Like, not playing with them, but I'll check up on them and maybe pick a few of them up and see how they looking. I'll put it to my ear, squeeze it a little bit, listen to it. I'll talk to it, I think 5 years ago, we realized that your cigars are going to taste as good as you make it taste. It ain't about buying the expensive one. It's about, did you take care of it? Did you keep it at the right temperature, the right humidity? Did you care for it? Did you store it in the right place? I think we're going to get back to doing that. I think we fell into a place where people started thinking, okay, let me just buy the limited edition, or let me just buy the expensive ones. Let me buy the new ones. But as I remember it, we didn't used to do that. You bought what you bought and you took care of it. It's just like having a car. You don't have to buy a new car every year. Just take care of what you have. Learn it, understand it, get to know it. Every cigar is going to be different. So I already know my Millennials is going to smoke a certain way. And so before I go to smoke it, I'm going to maybe dry box it a certain way. Same thing with my Andalusian Bulls. I know if I'm going to smoke that, I got to dry box that for like 2 days. I know the cigar. I know what to pair with it. I know where to smoke it, when to smoke it. Some cigars, I'm not going to smoke it if it's cold outside. We used to know our cigars. We used to know our products. And I think we got away from that. We felt as if we can just buy it and that would fix it for us. And I do think the aficionados are going to come back. The men and women who we know what we're doing. And you don't have to be an expert, but just learn it. And here's the thing. You can't learn your cigar if you always buying new cigars. So I know exactly how a Millennial is going to smoke because I've been smoking it for 10 years. I think that's the problem with the new stuff, the limited edition. You don't know the cigar. You have no idea what the cigar is going to do if you're always buying something new. So I think that's going to come back where we get back to knowing our cigars, where we get back to aging it and truly collecting, keeping it, not hoarding it, but just getting back to us. All right. That's what I came to talk about tonight. All right, so let me know. My sister, I think she's talking about it in the lounge. And this is valuable for us, man, to learn this. Wow, she says sometimes she'll go in there and even ask, like, can I smoke here? I mean, imagine the cigar space should never cause somebody to do that. It should be welcoming and open and inviting. And again, some of these spaces, if they're so the good old boys club, then I do think we're going to start moving away from that and the brands are going to start to look and see that maybe half the consumers, the purchasers of cigars are women. And once they come to realize that, everything's going to change. I mean, I'll even ask you this. I talk about channels. How many women do cigar content? You know, so I would love, if there's a woman out here doing cigar content, obviously there's Cigar Vixen, but I would love to have a woman come on. And in fact, I'm going to reach out to Cigar Vixen, see if she'll come on. In fact, I'm going to do that just to show us what's possible and where we could be, what we could do with this. We messed it up over the past 2 years. If we're going to be honest with ourselves, we didn't do a good job. We ruined the whole cigar space with expensive stuff and hype stuff and limited edition. The brands just, we told people nonsense. And I think it's time we correct what we did. I think 2026 is going to be a good year. I'm going to check out Stogie's sister. I think I've come across her content. And again, I think a lot of these channels, they started and maybe they fell off. But I got no problem reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, you know what? Come on, let me help you. Let me help you. What's up, my friend? I'm doing good. I don't know which part of the show you caught, but we had a good show just talking about some bold predictions. I think 2026 is going to be a good year for cigars. I think the prices are going to go down. Taste and quality is going to go up. I think all the hype's going to go away. I think the grown-ups are back. I hate to say it that way, but I think we're back. I think the space is going to change. Yeah, we had everybody doing cigar content. I think some of that's going to go away. I think it's going to just get back to how it should be. Brother says, "Oh, I'm gonna be a visionary, a bridge builder." Again, because when I even think about the alternative, okay, what do I'm gonna call up some brand, get some guy in a suit to sit on my live, and what are we gonna talk about? How great his cigar is? I would rather watch paint dry, and you would as well. So I would much rather reach out to a female cigar channel or whatnot. Say, hey, come on, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. I reach out to a guy like Brian with Pravada. Let's have a real conversation. If I bring someone on, it's going to be something real, something different, something to help. Because we've seen what happens when the inmates run the asylum. We've seen what happens if we bring the brands on, let the brands talk. Yeah, they're going to talk us to death and then come out with a limited edition. So no more of that. It's 2026. It's a new day. The brands are watching. They're listening. They've heard everything you said. They hear what I say. They see your engagement. They see that you're on. They'll see the view count for the video. So make sure you're hitting like. Make sure you hit share. When you watch it on the replay, make sure you engage with it. Well, we came, we did, we presented. We are the cigar prophets. And so the moral of the story, the lesson for today, the people. You got the power. Everything that went wrong, that's on us. We messed up. We messed up. But I think if we do the right things, make the right purchases, support the right things, I think 2026 is going to be a great year for cigar smokers. And so that's what we came to talk about. I think it's going to be a great year. God bless you. May God keep you. May God continue to shine his light upon you. I'm done. Like I said, I got a whole bunch of content. Support all the content I put out. Don't let some of my videos be looking all weak. Come on, support the videos. Hit the hype button. I think that's a new thing. Hit hype, hit share, hit like. Just say something. Hit the hype button. Hit the hype button when my videos come out. Make sure you're doing that. I appreciate it, my friends. We'll be back next week. And again, ain't no more football. So Sundays, I'm going to try to drop some content for you on Sundays. So you got something to do. We're here to help the people. And if we've helped you, like, comment, subscribe. But most importantly, as you hit like, as you hit hype, as you do all those things, rise and grind.